I'm not the first to say it, but this Dead by Daylight patch is complete horseshit. For those of you who are unfamiliar with me, I've been playing the game for almost 7 years now, and I've accumulated over 2,300 hours on record. I have every achievement in the game minus one from the most recent chapter, which dropped yesterday, and I play a mixture of both roles as well as all of the killers to form as fair an opinion as I can. I've seen it all when it comes to Dead by Daylight, the good, the bad, and the extremely ugly, but one thing is certain to me. The worst patch that Dead by Daylight has released in a very long time was the one that dropped yesterday. As a longtime player, I honestly haven't seen it nearly this bad since the original release of the Twins, which single-handedly made me and my group of friends take a break from the game for almost 2.5 years. The devs pushed forward a completely broken patch with not a care in the world, and the only thing they had in mind when releasing it was another timely DLC without any delays regardless of the state of the game that it put itself in. After seeing people whinge about the release of Houndmaster and the amount of bugs she came with, I seriously thought it couldn't get any worse given the history the game had and how badly it had truly been in previous years. But, surprise surprise, behavior proved me wrong, as I'm here making this video ranting about the almost unplayable state of the current patch. It feels fair to start from the small things and work our way up, so that's what I'm going to do here, so please just bear with me while I get through this long list of grievances. Let's start small. The massive piece of rebar on the offering screen. Where does it come from? Nobody knows, but it's giving TF2 coconut JPEG vibes, and the fact that something so small and likely easy to handle made it past QA is astounding. The likelihood is developers did know about this, but upper management pushed it through regardless and didn't deem it enough of a problem to delay the release of the chapter. This is just the tip of the iceberg when it comes to the issues with the patch, as another issue that plagued release day is how frequent lobbies were breaking, which at the time of writing the script has allegedly been fixed. The only way to circumvent this bug was to constantly reload between killer lobbies and survivor lobbies until the game deemed you worthy enough to invite your friends and finally start playing. Oh, but it doesn't stop there. Sometimes the spectate feature is entirely broken, leaving you nothing but a black screen and the sound of all survivors running in the background, as if you are still sitting at the end game screen despite spectating a player in the game. There's no way to back out, no way to leave the lobby, you're just forced to Alt F4 and restart your game entirely. To add to this, and albeit a much smaller issue, they've decided to entirely shift the position of the spectate button to the right side of the screen. For what reason? Absolutely none. It's almost like when a sword does a complete inventory reset and moves everything around. I find myself spending more time looking for it, as the muscle memory for what I know is entirely different now. I have no idea why we moved a button that has been in the exact same spot for as long as I can remember. Voices for the new Survivor are also completely broken. For the entire 4 to 5 hours I played Survivor, I didn't hear a single scream, grunt, or any other sound coming from Rick players I ran into, and I was queued with somebody playing Rick for the entire session. This appears to only be a Survivor side issue from what I've seen, and when I played Killer, I could still hear Rick grunting and making sounds as if he were hurt. But it's still a massive annoyance, and I don't feel like it should be missing as it removes from the immersion of playing. I find my frustrations to be more amplified by the fact that Michonne sounds like an iPad kid with a bad cold when coughing. What is that all about? Like, seriously. Based on audio, Fang Min might actually have competition for being a pay-to-lose survivor now. The audio of the new survivors also appear to still be filler sounds that were used in the PTV, which many DVD content creators have pointed out. This is less of an issue and more so of a nuisance to hear, given they have the original actors do all the voice work for the characters, and they just appear to be missing a large part of that. Future me here, having more insight. Apparently the voices are just here to stay, and they're just awful. Alright, back to the script. Speaking of audio issues, the Bearmar event torso is still bugged. This isn't even the first instance of something like this happening, as you might remember the same thing happening to Bearmar's Christmas sweater. You're given built-in Iron Will and Calm Spirit, as well as the UI showing that you are playing as Astri. This was reported as early as the start of the anniversary event, so the fact that it's gone under the radar this long is completely unacceptable. Thankfully, Bearmar main community is only in the double digits, so it's not a bug most people are going to be running into, though I suspect once enough people find out, it may even hit the triple-digit numbers. A general issue that I have noticed over the last few months is that Funbus tile on Autohaven is completely unvaultable from one side. This can be pretty frustrating, especially if it catches you off guard in the middle of a chase. Both killers and survivors are affected by this, and again, it's a reoccurring issue that has existed in the past. Moving over to killer issues, the amount of individual bugs are actually insane. Starting off with probably the funniest and my most favorite is this one. He didn't even aim on my side. Like, he just shot it out of his dick. Spirit has a bug when phasing where she keeps her hands up after exiting power. Springtrap still faces other directions when throwing his axe occasionally. Legion seems to have about a 50-50 shot of detecting survivors with killer instinct who have already mended during their feral frenzy. Dracula still has a plethora of bugs when it comes to switching forms. There are reported instances of Hag triggering her own traps with Rusty Shackles add-on, and Houndmaster still has some of the most game-breaking bugs that still haven't been addressed, even though they were supposed to be sometime in January after the holidays. I'm sure there are even more that I'm missing, so if you're aware of any I didn't mention, comment below. The crazy part? This isn't even the biggest issue, as the entirety of the chase mechanic is bugged. I've seen many people say it's related to fog vials, but I've been able to replicate the bug in almost every game regardless of if there's a fog vial present in the lobby or not. So it's really anybody's guess what's causing it. This is a massive hindrance to killer players as you're entirely forced to play without Bloodlust or Entity Locker. Likewise, this is made for a pretty stale gameplay loop on the survivor side as well, as most of the low tier killers have an exceedingly more difficult time catching up in some instances, and it feels like they're being played less and less every day. Another massive problem with chases not being activated is that both roles miss out on a significant amount of blood points, making it feel less rewarding to bring offerings. I usually average 32 to 40,000 blood points from a good survivor killer game, and in the current state of things, I'm probably getting about 20 to 22,000. The cherry on top of all this for me is how massively the bug affects Pig. Due to no chases being started, if a head trap is active on a survivor, you can follow them around the rest of the trial until their head pops, and there's nothing the survivor can do about it. Pig is my absolute favorite killer to play, and while I don't abuse bugs or exploits at all, I'm fearful to give her new rendition a try because I'm worried I'll get reported for running into the same survivors over and over again. I'm the kind of player who chases what I see in most circumstances, and off the chance I keep running into the same survivor, I don't want to be labeled an exploiter and get a suspension. So I guess I'll have to wait to find out if she's any good until behavior decides to push a bug fix. I think that'll wrap up this sort of mini rant. I just wanted to voice my frustrations with the game lately and how unrewarding it feels to play. That's about it. See ya.
To it.
Sable got one too, but it's not...
Why do her tits look bigger?
Don't worry about it.
Don't worry about it.
He's worrying about it.
Because they absolutely are. That's why her tits are bigger in this.
Don't ask how I know. Don't ask how I know.
Bro's a professional, my bad.
Bro's literally the boob inspector.
Her arms phasing through her tits with that new skin. Like, you can see it.
Oh my
literally the boob inspector. Alright, I'm in.